But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the war on drugs? Of course we did. Welcome to the first episode of Where's My Blunt? Today we do a deep dive into the war on drugs in about 3 minutes as I roll my blunt. So the war on drugs started way before Nixon declared it a war in June 1971. In fact, have you ever thought about why some drugs are more legal than others? I mean, it really has nothing to do with how powerful a drug is, how addictive it is, how destructive it is, and everything to do with who that drug is associated with. In the 1870s, so about 100 years before Nixon, the first anti-opium laws were put into place and were directed at Chinese immigrants. The first cocaine laws were put into place to be directed at Southern black men. And the first marijuana laws were directed at Mexican immigrants. So this started way before. However, Nixon officially declared it a war on drugs in June 1971 and increased the size and presence of these federal agencies and pushed through measures like mandatory sentencing and no-knock warrants. In 1972, the commission even said they should decriminalize cannabis. Nixon ignored that report and the recommendation. And while every president, in my opinion, has contributed to the war on drugs, it was really Ronald Reagan who had gasoline to the fire. The media also heavily contributed to the drug hysteria, and we'll discuss this much later because even today, what's actually true about drugs and what the public believe are vastly different. And we have the media to blame for that. So soon after Reagan took office, his wife started the Just Say No program. And then in 1983, the DARE program was started. Do you know who started this? LA Police Chief Daryl Gates, who has been quoted as saying and believed that all casual drug users should be taken out and shot. Those are the people who created these programs. The presidency of Ronald Reagan ushered in a decades and decades long era of mass incarceration, starting with 50,000 when he took office, 400,000 by 1997, and 2.2 million today. In the end, top Nixon aide John Ehrlichman later admitted what the war on drugs was all about. And I'm going to quote this because I want to make sure I get this right. You want to know what it was all about? The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black. But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the war on drugs? Of course we did. If you didn't think it was intentional, you were wrong. So what can we do to help this, to stop this, to turn it around? One of my most favorite things to do is to roll up a blunt and to use my voice by contacting elected officials. Obviously, you just don't willy-nilly contact someone. You want to have a purpose. You want to know who to contact and what to say. And so organizations like the drug policy actually have tools for you to do that. So you can head over to thedrugpolicy.org /action to find out how you can get involved. You can also look in all the show notes and see all the links where I pulled this information from. I also expect you, if I get something wrong, because I do research it, but maybe I didn't research it enough, please call me out in the notes so that we can fix it. The worst thing we can do is continue to spread misinformation. So thank you for being a part of the first episode of Where's My Blonde?